In terms of generosity, it's said that even if a monk is teaching people the Dhamma, he should start with teaching them about generosity, the benefits of giving. Why?
Well, because generosity basically forces you to give things up. Like most people's lives, certainly people that have not encountered Dhamma or have even a vague inkling towards, relinquishment, dispassion, letting go of attachments. It's all about gathering, owning, increasing, possessing. So the benefits of generosity, it's through generosity, like generosity is good and nice, and it will make you feel good and it will make others feel good, even if you're still not interested in Dhamma. But also, incidentally, generosity will make you give things up and feel good on account of it. Give something of yours, part of your wealth, earnings, possessions, and you will enjoy the fact that somebody's happy on account of it and can benefit from it and is grateful, but you have actually given it up as well. And then so you enjoy as well something that you gave up. Because it is like it's a factually uplifting, less constricted state of mind, giving. Now, there can be many layers of giving. Some people give by expecting stuff. It doesn't matter. In itself, the phenomenon of giving does require giving up. I can't give it to you if I don't give it up. As simple as that. So that thread remains wholesome throughout the giving, even if I give it, with a small print or something. It's still good to give. Sure, the best way to give is when you yourself are completely not attached to what you give it. So Arahant giving to an Arahant is the greatest gift. But mind you, none of them needs any merit anyway, because they're Arahants. So that's why the gift is purified by the virtue of the giver or the virtue of the receiver, as in how little he attached to these things is.
But as you're saying, people get really into it because it provides I would say it provides a sense of security.
It does, and it is an uplifting thing. So it's not just it's all in your head. It's factually a greater state of mind than the mind of the one who doesn't give. Because just look at it, like if the mind that doesn't give means it's the mind that always revolves around habits of taking, possessing, owning, protecting, worrying about it, having, controlling, things that are unownable, cannot be protected, and it will be taken away. So the only way to sustain your state is to keep doubling down in that sense. That's why the Buddha referred to it like a people with a miserly mind that through lack of wisdom become like that. And they are then, headed to bad destinations and so on. Not because they harmed anybody, just because they constricted their mind more and more and more. Well, giving prevents you. Giving, it's like a valve to that constriction. It will release that, even if you don't like it, even if you don't feel great on account of giving, the fact that you made yourself give up something to someone else's benefit, it's good in that sense. It will force at least that extent of your mind to open up. It's not like, by giving you give a piece of yourself away or something. That's just poetry that people like to talk about. No, it's just phenomenologically speaking, act of giving requires you to give up. At least that thing. You give up more means greater elevation of your mind, because you force your mind to back off, step away from this. You cannot constrict yourself over this. So by giving, you prevent mind to, with its own ignorance, to kind of develop the sense of ownership and latch on it. And sure, if you become attached to giving, great, it's better. So you become attached to an elevated state of mind. It's still an attachment, but it's a better attachment. On account of the attachment of generosity, you actually can get to even understand then the purpose, the true purpose of generosity, which is that, forcing your mind to expand. That's what generosity, friendliness, all that goes hand in hand. It's a less limiting state of mind.
And that's not being generous, being stingy. Why do you think a person does that? Why would a person be stingy?
Insecurity. Fear of non-control. Proliferate a sense of self that it's now being threatened by even mere things that sort of, you don't have or you can't have. like the whole sense of self and the ownership, it's not this fixed thing. The more you go down that way, the more it will need for its maintenance. That's why you have people who have everything and still it's like never enough, because they psychologically became locked into that pattern of always seeing that it's never enough, because it cannot be owned to begin with. You can have all the money, but fundamentally you feel that it's not fundamentally in your control. Deep down you know that. Why? Because you could die at any given moment, the economy can crash at any given moment, thieves can come and steal it at any given moment, and all that's implicit in your ownership. If you don't own it, how can you be affected if it changes or goes away? That's exactly the whole point. I mean, when the Buddha encouraged those monks in the forest, he said, monks, would you be upset if people come and start collecting these branches and breaking them and burning them? He says, no, we wouldn't. Why is that? Because these branches mean nothing to us. They're not mine. I have no concern over them. Exactly. So that's how you should regard your own body, your own senses, things that you do have concern over. Well, remove the concern, recognize that in its nature, it's truly subjected to change, and it's something you cannot affect or control or repossess. So people who are stingy or miserly lack wisdom in that regard. They see that is unchangeable, and they ignore it, and as a result of it, they keep doubling down on the action of more ownership and more control, because they ignore the fact that they already know that it's not in their control.
So there is this one sutta where the Buddha is speaking to a General Siha, and that general asked the Buddha, what are the benefits visible here and now of generosity? And the Buddha replies that there are, I think, 4 benefits that you can see here now. The 5th benefit is rebirthing, or
the next, in the future life, you'll see the benefit of it.
Birth in heavenly realms.
Right.
But you can't see that now. So the general just goes by faith, and he believes the Buddha.
Sure.
Through faith. But the 4 benefits here and now is that people like you because you give.
Yeah.
A good reputation gets spread. And wise people praise you, and you are confident in amongst any assembly of people, whether it be, holy people, royals, rich people, skillful people.
Yeah. So why would you be confident? Like, why would you not be as confident if you're not generous in any assembly? And then why would generosity make you more confident in any assembly?
Because you understand the quality.
Well, exactly, because as I said, it's a less limiting state of mind. Lack of confidence is extremely constricted state of mind, where you just fear and insecure in regard to everything and every movement and others and so on. So through generosity, as I said, you're forcing your mind to expand. It is a state of mind that is more expansive than non-generosity, as simple as that. And when the state of mind is more expansive, it is less constricted, less afraid, less being able to twitch to the left or to the right on the basis of, perception of insecurities and so on, because it's more expensive. So it can take more. And you do more of that, the more confident you will be. Not conceited confident or something, trying to override everybody. No, simply less moved, because the mind is broader.
Because what I saw in this sutta is the cure for social anxiety that lots of people
Well, exactly. Yeah. Social anxiety, or anxiety because of others, because of which I don't engage with others, because of which my anxiety increases, because of which I don't engage with others. So it's a vicious circle. Well, generosity is a nice way to engage with others. So you start breaking the vicious circle of non-engaging with others through engaging with others through generosity. And that little bit is enough to sort of set your mind, at least to some extent, in that direction of, expansion. Like, it's not an intentional thing, but by being generous, you force your mind to look up a bit more. And that will diminish your anxiety on account of looking down and hiding. As simple as that.
Because there's like that fear of not being liked or being laughed at or being mocked.
Exactly, yeah.
By
and that
others
will
or
remain.
Something.
Not like you would not have those thoughts if you've been having those thoughts. But through generosity, you get to override them.
But you also
get to elevate your mind above those thoughts, and then it doesn't matter if they laugh at me or something. What matters is that I actually did the generous deed. That's why generosity is a practice. It's not like you do a generous act and suddenly have this religious experience. Although, if somebody's been very miserly, it might feel like that. Any little expansion from an extremely constricted mind will feel like a religious revelation. But generosity is a practice. So you do it, you develop it, you use wisdom. Obviously, you don't just start giving everything carelessly, when your own family is starving or something. But when you can, if you earn more, you always dedicate part for giving. And you don't overthink it. You don't make demands. Just find where it's good to give to, who can help, who can be helped, and do it. And then practice doing it. And again, you will build it up, the behavior of generosity. There will then be a phenomenon in your mind seen as such. Not just when you're giving. Even generally, I am a generous person. And that knowledge will be there. And that's exactly the benefit of it. Others, that knowledge will be in others as well. Not like you have to have audience when you're giving all the time. But if you've been practicing giving sufficiently enough, it will be known. And you wouldn't care whether it's known or not, but it will be known. That's a fact. That's why the Buddha listed as one of the inevitable benefits of it. So it's a practice that should be developed and encouraged for individual benefit of your own mind expansion and benefit of others, of course. And then it can encourage others to be generous and help, which will then in return help their own minds from the state of, stinginess, overly controlling, possessive, and so on. Because, again, a simple reflection, like, what can you keep? What can you keep at the end of the life? It's all this like the idea, when you die, your possession will stay yours, but that idea exists in people's minds just because they never think about it. But so it's like being generous, he goes, no, honestly, like, how much do I need? And then you can always find a room for some generosity and then make a practice out of it.